I had Chris Sale ninth, like about a week back, and
I
then
did too.
I had to say to myself, "Hey, Eric, he didn't pitch in the postseason because he wasn't healthy." And then I had to be like, "Okay, yeah, that's we had some injury concerns for Chris Sale in the past. Obviously coming into 2024, I mentioned that I thought we were going to get a healthier version of Chris Sale than we had seen in
Yeah.
the past and a better version of Chris Sale. I didn't think we were going to get the version that was as good as what we got in 2024, but we then saw the injury pop up at the end of the year, and it's just a little bit of a reminder that like those injury concerns don't fully go away. A lot of his injuries in years past were fluky. There was the wrist and the ribs and things like that that were
The
not
finger.
related
Oh,
to
man.
the arm, but his delivery, the age, the wear and tear on his arm, those are things that don't go away. And so I think it is foolish to expect him to duplicate 2024. I think it is also
Twice he
foolish to
singled as well
expect
in the
him
third.
to go back to being like a 70 inning pitcher.
Score.
I think we know how
Joel
good Chris
Jeffers
Sale is when he's
were able to
healthy,
reach.
and we know how good he is when he's on the mound. And I don't think that he's on the downside of his career in a way that's meaningfully like he's not a strikeout pitcher or he's like an SP3 in real life baseball because he just doesn't have it anymore. But there are some risks that come with his profile that we need to bake in. I've moved him to 15, so I'm still slightly higher than you because I think we saw just how good he still is.
Mhm.
I'm curious if your ranking is baking in that risk, or you think he just overperformed more than maybe I do this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's both, right? I generally don't like chasing peak seasons from old
Mhm.
guys.
Yep.
That's what I do. I didn't chase Zach Eflin after his peak season, as an old guy. Uh,
I think
well, I'm
Zach
saying
Eflin
like
was like 27.
like an
Like
old guy.
how old is he? Come on.
No, 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 no. No, I mean, I meant like from someone who's been around in the league, free
Yes,
agent,
I
everything
get
like
you. A
that. It was,
veteran. Yes, a veteran.
Charlie Morton. I didn't really want to chase it. And with Chris Sale, like that was not just good, that was absurd.
Right.
32% strikeout rate, unreal, 101 whip, 238 ERA. I was really tempted, like you, putting him at 9 right after Otani inside of that injured. Like these are guys,
Mhm.
if they're healthy, they're great. But then I thought, wait, if he's healthy, I like those other guys more. Because
Sure.
this was really an overperforming season in many ways. Four seamer got hit by both sides of the
Strikeouts.
plate. 46% ICR by righties and
Whoops, one
46%
past third,
ICR by
past Riley.
lefties.
And
This
down the
pitch
left
was
field
not
line into the corner. So
a
counts.
I don't know, a dominant
Lays to right center
pitch,
field
but
in the gap,
it was
slicing, and
supposed to
that
be
is in
maybe?
play, and that's off
I'm
the
so
wall.
weirded out by it. It
Schwarber in his
had
back
a
pocket.
435 BABIP against
And a line
lefties,
drive. That's a
which
bullet
is
deep to
but then
right.
again, it
It
had
is
such a high ICR.
gone.
It actually only had 2
Leadoff
extra hits
home
allowed
run.
according to PLV.
Just what we needed, guys.
And against righties was a
That
411 BABIP.
momentum back into
So
our
how the heck did he
dugout.
get through this? Well, because his slider against lefties was a 105 average. 23% swing strike rate. And the changeup, oh man, the changeup came through for him. Against righties, had a 26% ICR as opposed to 39%. So as I was talking about before, lefties with changeups is everything. And there you go. That saved his season. I'm inclined to believe the four seamer is actually still going to be bad. It was 95 mile per hour velocity, which was the bad version in 2022. We didn't love Chris Sale then. It was very limited, 2 starts or so, but it wasn't even watching that or in 2023. It didn't feel like Chris Sale or something missing. And yeah, we saw depressed velocity. So I'm not expecting like this was like the best season he's had.
Yeah.
And back in the day, he was throwing 97 or so. And this is 94.7 for the total of the year. I can't tell you that he's going to be now 36 and throwing harder than that.
Sure.
So that fastball, which was bad last year, I don't think is going to get better. And then the question becomes, okay, does the slider or the changeup, stay the same? And then how much worse is it? And so on. I don't know. That's really the answer I can give right now. But I don't think he's going to have a .5 homer per nine again. I think that's just ridiculous to expect that. I don't think he's going to have an 80% left on base rate. The hotel is here.
Sure.
Hi, what's up? I normally don't like talking about the hotel, but when it's ridiculous, it's ridiculous. And we got to be like, okay, this stuff is going to change a bit. So I don't really expect a 32% K rate from Chris Sale. All of these things are just going to be worse. And then you throw in, yeah, as you mentioned, look, I know that everyone's getting hurt, and that's sure. There are some guys that I've just said like we all expect him to get hurt this year, and he
Yep.
wasn't, and now he is hurt, but I don't know. He doesn't have the 200 inning ceiling. Even this
No.
year was 177. But fine, let's just say it's 140. Okay. You have somewhat of a lower ceiling, and then you also have a peak season that he's going to be worse from. That's where I stood. I was like, okay, all these guys, when they're healthy, when they're good, they're pitching, I'm going to be starting them, be happy about it. But there's a little bit more mystery, I think, with Chris Sale and what you're actually getting. I might be convinced to put him over, say, like Nola or so, because I do think that per inning basis, Chris Sale should be better than Pablo Lopez and Aaron Nola. But I think those other two are just more solidified in workload wise than Chris Sale at 36.